What's up guys, I'm Rhett. Welcome back to Lawn Insider. In today's video, we're going to cover 5 things that you can stop stressing about if you have a Bermuda lawn. But as usual, I wanted to show y'all a quick shot of what the lawn is looking like right now. And I did spray some T-Nex last weekend, so that really slowed down the vertical growth because I didn't actually mow today. I mowed yesterday and the grass is still really short. And I made my first application of the flagship fertilizer last week. So the yard is in good shape and we are ready to jump into the video. Now make sure we're sticking around to the end of the video because after we go over the 5 things that you don't need to lose any sleep over, we're going to go over the one big thing that we do have to worry about in our yards. The first thing that we shouldn't be stressing about in our Bermuda lawns is what to do with grass clippings. So one of the questions that people ask most frequently is should they be mulching their clippings or bagging their clippings? And my answer would just be do whatever you prefer to do, because in the past I've used my grass catcher a lot, and this season I've mowed a lot without my grass catcher, and I will say that in the lawn I don't see a huge visual difference. So there are some benefits to mulching. For one, you're adding that extra nitrogen back into the lawn, and for 2, my favorite benefit is that you're not having to collect those grass clippings every week. But if you're someone who just prefers to mow with the bag on or with the grass catcher on because you think it looks tidier, go ahead and do it. The second thing that folks with Bermuda grass don't have to worry about is overseeding weak spots to help them fill in thicker. And that's because Bermuda is going to naturally do that as the weather warms up. And this area here is actually Exhibit A because if you remember a few weeks ago, we were riddled with bare spots from dog pee damage from the wintertime. And now in mid-May, pretty much all those areas have filled in. Now naturally we have a few new spots here and there, but that's just the beauty of having dogs. But let me go ahead and show you some areas here, and hopefully you can see this because we're in the shadows, but this area right here filled in completely. This area is actually almost filled in. You can actually see a runner coming across, and these runners are actually called stolons, and they are filling in and tacking down laterally throughout the turf, and probably in another week or so that area will be completely filled in with Bermuda grass as well. And that is the beauty of having a grass that repairs itself. That's why a lot of sports fields and golf courses down here in the south use Bermuda grass, because you don't have to do all that extra work with the overseeding. And even if you could overseed, you probably wouldn't be able to match your existing grass anyway. So as long as we are cutting frequently and watering correctly and on a good fertilizer schedule, once the weather heats up, that Bermuda is going to do most of the heavy lifting of filling in those weak spots on its own. The third thing that you don't have to worry about is burning your lawn from a summer fertilizer application. So as long as you're applying at bag rate or less than bag rate and you're watering it in afterwards, regardless of how hot it is, you're not going to get any damage on the lawn. Really the only way you're going to burn anywhere is if you dump the whole bag or like your whole application in one spot, then naturally you'll get some damage. Now the one thing I will say about applying fertilizer over the summer though is that the grass, Bermuda grass, is already growing so quickly just from all that heat that when you add nitrogen into the equation, the grass really takes off really fast, and it is harder to keep up on your mowing schedule. So I would advise to apply at a lesser rate, but don't be afraid to still apply fertilizer over the summer. The fourth thing that you don't have to worry about is applying straight 100% mason sand during a leveling project. And there are naysayers that say that'll turn your yard into a parking lot or cement or something along those lines, but I think that the proof is in the pudding here. And over the course of the last 3 years, I've probably put 20 yards of sand on top of my lawn, and I would say that how hard or soft your yard is a lot more determined by the thickness of your grass as opposed to what the soil looks like underneath. And this feels a lot more like walking on carpet than it does walking on a sidewalk. The fifth thing that you don't have to stress out about with a Bermuda lawn is whether or not you should dethatch. So I actually look at it the same way I do as grass clippings. It's all about preference. If you want to, go ahead and do it. And if you don't want to, then don't. But a lot of people will tell you just straight up, don't dethatch warm season grass because of the lateral growth pattern, and the dethatcher can pull up those runners and those stolons and cause a little damage to the lawn, but it's not permanent damage. And my experience with roughing up Bermuda grass, whether that be scalping, dethatching, if you can get your hands on a verticutter, is that after you do it, the grass comes back looking better than it ever did even before. So again, it's all about preference. If you want to, do it, and if you don't want to, don't. Okay, so those are the 5 things that you don't have to stress about in your Bermuda lawn. And here is the one big thing, unfortunately, that we do have to worry about, and that is shade. So another question that I get all the time is, what can I do in this one particular shady spot to get the grass to grow back thicker? And unfortunately, there's just not too much you can do with Bermuda grass, because Bermuda is just flat out not shade tolerant. It prefers full sun. So if it's a tree, obviously you can do some trimming and try to lessen the amount of shade that it does cast, but Bermuda is just not going to thrive in a shady area. So if you're in a position right now where you're thinking about seeding or sodding an area, but you might have a lot of trees, or just your house might cast a big shadow and you're not getting a lot of sun in that area, then Bermuda is not a go-to option for you. All right, y'all, I think I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up right there. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave me a like. If you're liking the content and you wanna continue to see more of it, hit the red subscribe button below. And if you have any questions, comments, concerns, leave those in the comment section below. I'll see y'all again next week. Lawn Insider out.